Welcome to the Transfer Roundup. What is going on in the world of Manchester United? Well, a midfielder, it looks like. We've only brought Cunha in so far, but things might be getting positive as Manchester United have been linked to a couple of midfielders over the last few days. The main one, the breaking news, is that we've been linked to Fabian Ruiz. It's coming out from the leading outlet in France that Manchester United want to make a big move for Fabian Ruiz of PSG. PSG don't want to let him go too easily though, but when it seems like Manchester United might be ruled out from signing a midfielder because of the outgoings, it's looking up because not only have we been linked to Ruiz, and by the way, Fabian Ruiz, 29 years old, is that going to put us off in the over 25s category, as it seemed like Ineos just wanted to sign players that were 25 and under? I don't think so, because we've also been linked to Ollie Watkins recently, which we'll talk about in a little bit. João Paulina, who's 29 as well, from Bayern, but wants to stay at Bayern Munich. And Fabian Ruiz is an excellent midfielder that I think would be great at Manchester United. I mean, get in the comments down below if you'd like him. I'd love him. I just think money-wise, it's going to be super tough to get him out of PSG unless there's some sort of deal we can do with a Garnacho or a Sancho or a Rashford, which I don't think is going to be on the cards because we are going to talk about outgoings as well. But if we can push for a move for Ruiz, that'd be super, super exciting. And just even being linked to midfielders gets me excited. Rob Dawson from the ESPN as well has said that if Manchester United can sell players, they're looking at Ederson of Atalanta and Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace. Two different types of profiles, we have spoken about this, but two midfielders that would definitely be an upgrade on what we currently have. I mean, personally for me, if I was to rank it, I would have Adam Wharton at the top, the most potential and I think has the highest ceiling for this Manchester United team. Then I'd go with Fabian Ruiz because I think he's an excellent player, and anyone working under Luis Enrique in that PSG team is someone that I would love to have at Manchester United. Also brings that experience, that winning experience. And then it would be Ederson. Do I think we're going to get either of these three? It depends if we can hurry up and get selling, because pre-season starts in less than a week and we've not sold anyone. The only two players we've sold is Christian Eriksen on a free and Lindelof on a free. That doesn't count, Ineos. And then what is going on with the striker? I mean, time's ticking. It was our priority going into this window. It's our priority in January, and we're still not in talks with a striker to come into Manchester United. And the latest update from Fabrizio Romano is that Manchester United will go for a striker if a good opportunity arises. If a good opportunity arises, are we not definitely going for a striker? Of course, I want it to be the right one. But we had the opportunity to take Duran from Saudi. We just opted against that because we'd have to pay his wages, which are very, very, very big wages. But Duran is something we turned down. I honestly might have taken a punt on Duran if we can't find a striker in the market currently that fits our needs. I think on a loan deal for Duran, yeah, the wages are just off the charts. But think about how much a loan fee would cost and a transfer fee would cost. He's a Premier League proven player that I think could do really well in this side. And if you can't nail down a striker this window, just as a little bit of a stopgap, I think Duran could have been good. So I know some people say avoid that because of the money. Get in the comments down below what you think. And I saw Goldbridge say he wouldn't have done it. I think I would have taken a punt because I know how good he can be in the Premier League. And then maybe if he does well, you can sort of negotiate a deal over with Saudi to get him to Manchester United on a permanent. So get your thoughts in around that. Ollie Watkins, another Aston Villa player, John Duran, former Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins, Athletic linked us to Ollie Watkins. If Rasmus Højlund departs, we could go for him. This, to me, is sort of you're working from option A, you're now at option around D. That's where I'm feeling on this one. Ollie Watkins, I think, is a good Premier League striker. However, a few things that kind of put me off in terms of how he's going to work in this Manchester United side. First of all, it's going to be quite big wages coming in at 29, and he's going to want at least probably a 4-year deal. That puts me off slightly because if he doesn't hit the ground running, you're sort of stuck because no one's going to come in for him. Second thing is, I'm aiming for the Isaks and the Haaland of the Premier League. And don't get me wrong, Ollie Watkins is absolutely an upgrade on what we've got. I mean, quite a few players would be an upgrade on what we've got. I mean, let's be honest here. But I really do want to get to that level. And at 29, I think Ollie Watkins is a good Premier League striker. I don't think he's a great one. I don't think he will ever be a great one. Also, he needs a lot of chances. I've seen him miss countless chances, but Villa keep providing. However, he does run the channels really well, and he would hold up the ball well, and he would make a difference, but I would be avoiding that one. I'd be going for a different option, a younger profile, still with experience, that I feel like has a bit of a higher ceiling. I'd be going for over Ollie Watkins. And then a little bit on Mbeumo as well is I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United wrapped Mbeumo up as a striker / versatile forward player and we don't even go for a striker. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised because he can play up front. But we are nearly there on Mbeumo. Romano said we've got to be patient, but we will sign Mbeumo. It's going to happen. When it's going to happen, I'm hoping before July the 7th. And then are we ever going to sell any players? Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, Antony, the big four. I mean, you've had the big three, we've now got the big four. Where are they going? Well, Marcus Rashford, let's start off on him. Just kind of tailoring on from that Ollie Watkins point. Manchester United apparently did discuss with Aston Villa to do 2 separate deals for Ollie Watkins and Marcus Rashford at the end of last season, but because Marcus Rashford wants Champions League football and his preference and priority is to go abroad, that didn't develop into anything substantial. So that isn't going to happen now. He's not going to go to Villa. He has made it clear that he wants to go abroad. He wants to compete for titles as per David Ornstein. And this is coming out from a top tier source that will have been briefed in David Ornstein. And he has said Marcus Rashford's priority is to go abroad to a Champions League club. Now there's Barcelona, and I won't bore you with that story. We know where we're at with Barcelona. It might go, and if it does go, it's going to be a loan. I highly doubt it's going to be a sale. Also on that point, David Ornstein did say Marcus Rashford is open to a loan, is open to a swap, also a permanent deal, whereas Manchester United are absolutely pushing for the permanent. So that's kind of where that one's holding up. Marcus Rashford will have a loan if it's a better destination for him, and Barcelona will be a loan due to their financial situation, and I don't think he's absolutely top of their list. They also have Nico Williams, Luis Diaz on that list as well. But what's just come out, and this is the exciting, this is the juicy bit, and it's coming out from Christian Folk, who's a really good source for Bayern Munich news, can be briefed and usually is spot on when it comes to German news coming out of the Bundesliga. He has said that Marcus Rashford has emerged as a target for Bayern Munich. Now, I think that's great news. I think he'd be excellent there. I think, Bayern Munich dominate the Bundesliga. I think Bayern Munich play to his strengths. I think in that league, he'd do really well. It'd suit his attributes, it'd suit his pace, it'd suit his ability to go one-on-one, get him behind. So I think Marcus Rashford would thrive at Bayern Munich. He would win titles. They win the Bundesliga most of the time, and he would be competing in the Champions League. And they have the money to go and get him. They do have the money to go and get him. So I'd love to see Bayern Munich come in and make a good bid out there for Marcus Rashford. And then there's Jadon Sancho, probably the winger out of these 4 players that has had the most interest so far in this transfer window. However, unlucky for Manchester United fans, he is the player that seems least likely to go out there and want to push a move to go and play football, because he wouldn't even take a wage cut for his boyhood club. So despite all the interest, I think it's going to be super tough to shift Jadon Sancho. I think he would be quite happy to sit in his mansion and wait it out to get a massive sign-on fee and a decent wage again. I just, if he wouldn't do it for his boyhood club, why is he going to do it for Juventus? But this is the news coming out, and I'll bring the news because we are a news show, and hopefully it can develop. Hopefully Manchester United can suddenly become amazing in negotiations and make this deal happen. So it's coming out from Sky Sports that Juventus continue to work on a deal to sign Jadon Sancho. Club-to-club contacts are ongoing, and Manchester United want about 25 million. We know this. Juventus are willing to pay us 25 million. Romano's confirmed it. Sancho isn't willing to compromise his wage. That's the issue. And he goes on to say, however, it is not an easy deal to do, as Sancho is very likely to have to take a pay cut. Juventus officials are in dialogue with Sancho's camp over personal terms. Not easy, because he'd have to take a wage cut. Can somebody please go and speak to Jadon Sancho and say, look, go and play football. No one in Europe is going to pay you 300 grand a week. No one. Wake up and smell the coffee. You either sit around and wait and run down your contract, and you're going to get quite a lot of bad press. He might not care about that. He's had a bit of it already. And is there really going to be a queue of clubs lining up to go and sign him after doing that? I wouldn't want my club to go and sign someone who's just in it for the money. Or you go out there, you take a wage cut, you're still on fantastic money. You played in Turin, you played in Italy, you played in Serie A. Look at what Scott McTominay's done over there. Look at what Loftus-Cheek's done over there. Look at what Tomori's done over there. It could really reignite his career. So Jadon Sancho, if you're watching, please just take that move. It'd be good for you, and you can really show off your talent, because it is there, but stop always thinking about the money and go for this opportunity. It also helped Manchester United out as well. New financial year, so any money that we get in from Jadon Sancho, we can use it to bring incomings into this club as well. And then there's the other two to add to the list. Can you believe that we're now into July, 6 weeks until the Premier League kicks off, and none of these 4 players are anywhere close to agreeing a deal to move to another club? However, Alejandro Garnacho, as per David Ornstein, the only club currently in talks for Alejandro Garnacho, maybe not even in talks, but monitoring him, is Chelsea. Now, we know Chelsea look at a lot of players and their dressing room is going to be full next season. But even for Chelsea, I would be surprised if they go and pay the money for Garnacho. I really would. They've just brought Gittins in. They've gone for João Pedro. They've got Delap. They've got Madueke. The list could go on and on. Why are they going to go for Alejandro Garnacho? Neto as well. I think this news is coming from I think it's from Chelsea's side. I think they want to get rid of Nkunku. They know what we're like in terms of our transfer business. I mean, the amount we paid for Mount with his injuries, and we've kind of been done over by them before. And I think they think, you know what, Manchester United could be the ones that go and take Nkunku. Let's do some sort of swap for Garnacho. That doesn't suit us. We need pure profit. Plus, Alejandro Garnacho's made it clear that he wants a move to the Premier League. So Chelsea probably pushing it in a way to get rid of Nkunku. And then there's Antony as well. And he's willing to take a wage cut, and I respect him for that. Real Betis, though, the only club really in for him right now. They do really want him, but they're pushing for, partial payment, a loan. They've said it's a really difficult deal to do on a permanent. United would have to offset the wages, and financially, it just might not make sense for Manchester United. We're still paying Antony off. I think we'd have to get around 30 million for him to make it worth our while. Betis are talking about paying 17 million. United offsetting some of the wages and then having image rights to the player. It's just very difficult. If I'm Man United, I'm shutting Betis down. I'm saying no, let's explore other options. There was rumours about Juventus. There was rumours about Atletico Madrid. There will be other clubs out there that have looked at Antony after his stint in La Liga, where he was absolutely excellent. So let's see how that moves. I have a feeling United will end up accepting some sort of terms, compromise terms with Betis, but I think we should pivot away from that and stay strong on that one, because Amorim will have him on the tour. It's not as if he's disrespected the club, unlike maybe some of the other players we need to get rid of. But get in the comments down below, if you're Amorim, you're walking into pre-season, you've got the same squad, you've not even had outgoings, plus Cunha. And I don't want to take away from it, Cunha's an excellent signing, but it's just not enough. For a 15th place, worst Manchester United side ever, we have to do more, and it's not acceptable, and I want to make that clear. Don't want to be negative, but we should have been making some serious changes to combat what a terrible season that was. Hopefully we can speed up within these next 6 weeks and we can get some deals happening. What would you prioritise? Midfield, keeper, outgoings? Get your comments in down below, and we will see you on the next one.